What's up, everybody? It is the evening of Thursday, September the 15th, which is the day after these released. These are the Doctor Strange Dice Masters team packs, and these sort of mark the shift in the way that WizKids is looking to market and distribute Dice Masters from here on out. At least it would appear that way. So Dice Masters, up until this point, has been sold in two forms. Well, I guess three now that they've added TMNT team boxes. But up until this point, they had really only distributed Dice Masters in starter sets and corresponding sets of those, I guess, cards of that theme. So, for example, they marketed a Marvel set, starter set that goes with the Marvel packs that you can buy, the expansion packs, whatever you want to call them, booster packs. But these are a little different. These are a little different than the starter sets because starter sets would normally come with sidekick dice and bags that you play with, basically everything you need to start the game and play with a friend. These don't come with that. They don't come with the sidekicks, and so if you're like me and you have about 1,000 sidekicks, that's great. Their price point's $10 a pop, so two of these is $20. They come with cards, obviously, and they come with dice to correspond to each of those characters, but you lose some of the things that you don't really need. Also, they don't come with basic action cards, which you could take or leave. I kind of like having a ton of basic action cards. It gives you sort of a jumping off point to building teams, but that being said, this is totally cool as well, and I like what they're doing. So we are going to open these up. We'll open one of them up. Two is not that important to open. They are exactly the same. As you see, packaged the same. Same cards in each, so there's no mystery as to what's in here. But if you are new or you haven't seen what these are, or you're just excited that they're out and maybe they're not out in your area yet, you can take a look at this video. You can see what you'll be expecting when they show up in your area. I like the packaging overall. I don't mind this look. When they first released the look, it was kind of strange to see, but I think it works for the price point. I prefer this over something a little more extravagant. It is what it is. So as you can see on the box, it says 24 cards, 16 dice. So you're going to get 2 per every character, which means if you want max dice for a character, you have to buy 2. Which comes out to the price of a starter set, and so you're basically buying a starter set without basic actions, but again, some people are totally okay with that. I don't mind, honestly, I don't mind either way. I just like that that they're experimenting with price points and what they're offering. I think it's really cool. So there's some interesting cards in here. If you've seen the set spoiled, then you'll recognize some of them. If you have not, let's look at them together. I'll give you my take. I am by no means an expert at this game, so you can take my words for what they are. So there's all the dice. Here's the packaging. Unceremoniously tossed to the side. Let's go top to bottom in the order that they put these in. So first of all, we have 3 AncientOne, or I guess 2 AncientOne copies. Sorry. There's the third one. It's strange that's there. See if that's that way anywhere. Nope, that was weird. Maybe I mixed it up. Okay, so we have 3 different versions of these. AncientOne, he's a 7-cost shield. It says, while AncientOne is active, your opponent's mystic characters dice get -3A. So this is a mystic symbol. And so if you're playing with a friend and you're only going in this quote-unquote set, this is a pretty powerful ability because most of these cards have that mystic affiliation. He's got a really low fielding cost for a 7-drop. Most fielding cost on 7 drops are 1, 2, 3. So he's got 1, 1, 2, and he's got an 8, 8 side. So decent dice stats. Obviously max 4. All of these I think are max 4. Yeah. So he debuffs. Pretty cool. When he is active, this is obviously the next version of this card. When he is active, your opponent cannot target your mystic characters with global or character abilities. I like that one probably better than the debuff. Though this is a static debuff, which is nice, just constant. While he is active, your mystic character dice cost 2 less to purchase. This one I like probably the most. if you can get him out early enough. So that would involve, if you're playing unlimited, obviously you have to play unlimited with this because it doesn't come with sidekick dice. But when you're playing with this, you throw him down on turn 3 or whenever you can get him by doing the whole nice little ramp up thing. Well, no, it's not bent. Doing a nice little PXG 2 dice, or PXG with 2 masks, that sort of thing, and end up with 7 dice turn 2, buy him turn 2, and get him out there at some point. So he's doable. 6 cost bolt character. Clea, she's got the Mystic affiliation, and I think most of them do. While she is active, once per turn, whenever you could use a global ability, you may pay a bolt to deal 3 damage to target non-Mystic character die. Pretty cool. So this is basically a global without actually being a global, that your opponent can't use it, which is nice. I like that they're doing that with these cards from the Green Arrow set and now from this. Basically a global. You can use it on either turn, once per turn. So this is a pretty utilitarian card. 1, 2, 3, fielding cost, stats are pretty decent. 6 purchase cost and a bolt, so there's some synergies with the bolt, which is nice. While she is active, your other Mystic character dice cost 1 less to field to a minimum of 1. So this is useful for all of these high fielding cost characters. When fielded, KO target opposing level 1 character die or KO target Mystic character die. Looks like it's of any level. All of a sudden she's a Dark Sorceress. She's a villain on this one. So she's not benefiting from the Mystic, which is why she can KO the Mystic, I would assume, is what they're going character flavor-wise. I would not put this one on a team, probably, versus any of these other ones. We have the man himself, Doctor Strange, Wand of Watum. While he is active, each time you roll 2 or more action dice, gain 2 life. So a nice little life gain. He's got a 1, 2, 2 fielding cost overall. 5, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9. I like the stat line. I think, is that the same stat line from his original iteration in AVX? I don't remember. I remember him having a crazy stat line in the original. And he costs 7. He's a shield character, so he matches the AncientOne there. While he is active, pay 1 less to purchase action dice to a minimum of 1. And that's a constant buff, or a constant cost reduction, which I really like. Nice on a team, and he's a 6 cost, so he's much easier to get. Anytime I think of how easy or difficult it is to buy something, I always think of, like for example, 6 cost. I think of how easy it is to buy a Hulk Green Goliath. Fairly easy on turn 2 if you work for it. 7 cost, a little harder, but not too much harder because you have to nail that second roll. Speaking of 7 cost, while he is active, prevent all but 1 damage to you from each opposing action dice. Nice if you're running something like a bunch of direct damage, magic missile, power bolt stuff, and your opponent buys up more than you. You throw him down, and they're going to have to drop all that stuff on him just to get him off the field. Dormammu, Dark Lord of Chaos. When he is active, your opponent pays 1 more to purchase action dice. So this is sort of the antithesis of that last Doctor Strange. A 1, 2, 2 with an 8, 8 top side, 7 cost mask. I struggle with purchasing mask characters because if you're running Professor X Global, you have to dedicate one of your masks just to buy it. And for this, paying 7 for it, that's tough. While he is active, your opponents take 2 damage when they use an action die. Any opponent may KO one of their character dice to ignore this ability until the end of turn. That's interesting. I've always wondered why they've said any opponent may KO. So as they're hinting at the idea of playing this game with, I guess, like 2v2 or multiple players all at the same time, battle royale style. But they don't fully commit to it. It's like they dip their toe in the wording and then never really commit to it. Be interested to see if that would work. I've heard it's pretty chaotic. Overall, I don't like this card. I like this one better than the first one I mentioned. When he is active, your opponents with 3 or more active characters may not use action dice. Yeah, I like that. It's much easier to buy on a 6 cost on a mask, so that's not bad. Here's one that I really like. 3 cost mask. Much easier to purchase than the last one. When used, place this die on a basic action card. While it is on a basic action card, that basic action card costs 1 more for your opponents to purchase. While on a card, it can be targeted as if it was in the field zone. So obviously they wanted to put in there some way of removing the thing if you're running this. This I could see maybe being used to sort of counteract a vicious struggle team, but the problem with that is you're going to buy those up turn 1 and turn 2. So I don't know how this, it's like they were trying to go for some sort of a counter to that, but for a 3-drop, maybe you use the new chalkboard global to get this out on turn 1 if you're going first, and then throw it on turn 2 if you land it. But at that point, they've already probably bought 1 or 2 of those vicious struggles. I don't know. It'll have to be play tested, I think. Look at the text on that. Jeez. When used, place this die on a basic action card. While this is on the card, when your opponent uses this action, Eye of Agamotto deals them 1 damage. So this is, again, it's like, maybe we put something out there that kills this vicious struggle team. So let's make this ability where it totally benefits the vicious struggle team. Probably not very good to run if you're expecting a lot of that in your local meta. And if you're expecting a lot of that in your local meta, find a new place to play, because that sucks. Sorry for you. Global, pay 1. The first action you buy this turn is put into your bag. So again, this just basically speeds up that whole process. Speeds up the whole process of running a vicious struggle team. Same global. When used, place this die on a basic action card. While it is on that card, when you use that basic action, your character dice get +1. So this is like, okay, let's take let's take vicious struggle. Let's also take Bard. Let's smush them together and possibly break the game. It's slower than both of those, though, so that's probably why this won't see play. Here we go, some interesting cards. I like this one a lot. 2-drop Fist, so you're already starting off with good synergy and good price point. He's a villain, so he fits into another good synergy-filled meta. Nah, that's not the right word. He fits into a good affiliation. There you go. When fielded, he deals you 1 damage. So that's a little bit of a drawback, but it's not terrible if you're running... Well, I guess you could be running a few things that would make that okay. Stat line is pretty low on the defense, but that's not terrible because you're going to rush it out and try hitting with 4 attack. The deals you 1 damage thing on a when fielded ability is probably a deal breaker on that card. This is cool though. A 3-drop Fist, and it's got regenerate, which means it's going to reroll when it gets KO'd. And if it lands, like for example, if I take where are these? Here we go. So if he gets KO'd, I re-roll it, and it lands like that, he just comes right back, as how regenerate works, which is pretty sick for a 3-drop. And he's going to get KO'd because he's got such a low defense. He can get blocked on his 1 or 2 side by a sidekick, which makes him not scary, but the fact that he can come back and over and over and over again makes this really cool. I'd check that out and try playing with it. This is the one that I like too. So it's got Swarm. It's a 3-drop Fist. So that's multiple Swarm characters that are Fist characters as well. So I could see this going on a team as well. I would like to put together just a giant Swarm team, see how that performs. Be interesting. Scarlet Witch. When fielded, search your bag for an action die and roll it. If you roll an energy face, Scarlet Witch deals you 2 damage. So there's a drawback to playing her, which is why her 001 total fielding cost of 1 and 5/3 on her top side is there. Probably a little much of a, well, I don't know, maybe not a deal breaker, because if you don't buy any action dice, this basically just says pay 1 for a 5/3 and do nothing. So this is actually pretty good overall. You could put that and just never buy action dice. While she is active, when you use an action die, you may pay 1 to add it to your prep area. I like this one as well. She's a 4-drop. Again, I think the stats really speak for themselves on that one. Like, I don't think her stats here are a deal breaker in any way, especially because of the fielding cost. So overall, I like this card. I like both of those actually. When she is active, when you use an action die, gain 1 life. So this would actually be a fun one to try and play around with. They've included a lot more life gain cards in both this little pack, this team pack, and in the Green Arrow and Flash set. So you could actually, and of course in Dice Masters your life doesn't go over 20, so you can't sit there and ramp up this crazy life total, but you can put together a team that uses this deals you 1 damage and this card and all those other life gain cards, and conceivably put something that kind of balances itself out with speed and life gain. Be interesting to check out. And so this those cards, the mindless ones, are ones that I would pay for 2 packs of, or max dice worth of. And so is this. So are these. All the Wong dice are pretty, or Wong cards are actually pretty good. So, for example, 2-cost Fist again, got the Mystic affiliation, and it says he's an ally, so he counts as a sidekick in the field zone, meaning he can get buffed by any sidekick buffing effects. And he also has fast, and he's got a 0-1-1 fielding cost, a 2-2, a 3-3, and a 4-3 side. This is just a sick card overall. If you're not playing totally meta teams and you're doing some homebrew, this is a card that has a lot of different things going for it. I mean, it's got a great energy category. It's in the Fist category with a lot of other good cards. It's got ally, it's got fast, it's got great stats. I mean, this is like, that's a scary good card. You can do a lot with that. Again, ally, and in this case he's a 3-cost Fist. And he says, when fielded, you may pay X energy and sacrifice X sidekicks to deal X damage to your opponent. Okay, so if I paid 2 energy and sacrificed 2 sidekicks, meaning they go to my used pile, I can deal 2 damage to my opponent. I can do that as up to as many energy or as many sidekicks I have to sacrifice. And he counts as a sidekick, so I could technically sacrifice 4 of him in the field. That would be kind of hard, but I could sacrifice 4 of him in the field, deal 4 damage to my opponent by paying 4. Kind of cool. I'd play around with that. 3-cost Fist, ally again. When he is active, other sidekick characters get buffed 1-1. So again, this is just another card to go into the myriad of cards that buff sidekicks. And that is what comes in the pack. So you've got 2 dice for all of those cards. You've got 3 cards of each character. And that's what you got for $10. That's pretty good for $10. Gives you a lot of stuff to kind of play with. Gives you a lot of stuff to toy around with. Overall, the cards and the characters are pretty interesting. I love the art, especially this picture of Doctor Strange is just really cool. Art's great. Dice are always good quality. The Eye of Agamotto is especially pretty, especially interesting to look at. And again, paying $20 for 2 of these. You'll never use, I guess, multiples of those cards, so that's the only drawback. But yeah, I like it a lot. Being able to max dice for all of those cards is pretty great for $20. I like it a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys for the next one.